And welcome back to JKLIVE here at Citizen Television, speaking to the chairman of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Bishop Dr. David Oginde. He's been on the job about half a year now, and it's not like preaching on the pulpit.
No.
But you asked for the job, Bishop, so you got it.
Yes, I did.
Look, we were talking before, there's literally a scandal a day in Kenya.
More than
a day.
More than one a day.
And you must go to the office every morning and say, oh my goodness, if you think it can't get any worse, and it gets worse.
You know, we have a communication department. And one of the things, when I got to the office the first day, I found a file, a huge file, on my desk. So when I opened, it was fine print. And it was giving me a summary of the scandals of the day. So that I read through, this is what has come up. I looked at it, I said, I can't live like this. This can't be my breakfast every day. So now we have it on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yes, so every morning you wake up in the morning, and this WhatsApp gives you a summary of the scandals that have been there.
Of the day?
Of the day, not of last week.
Right.
Of that particular day. This is what has come up, this has come up, this is what has come up, and you know. So I used to wake up and read the Bible as the first thing in the day.
Yeah.
So if I open my WhatsApp, my day is messed up. Because it's corruption everywhere, every day, everything, yeah.
You're saying earlier on, the frustrations, I mean, you can tell, the frustrations are obvious, right? Yeah. But do you think there will be progress, there can be progress, we can get over this, or is it in our DNA now? Is corruption in our DNA?
No, it is not. We are making, if I learned that we are not making progress and we may never make progress, I would not sit where I'm sitting. The only reason I sit where I sit is because I can see progress, and I believe we can do something about this. It is frustrating, it is heavy, it's difficult, but it is doable. It is doable. Just this, on Monday, we were sitting with our CEO, just the two of us, looking at the many scandals that have come up in the last few weeks, and just thinking through what can we do about them. And we sat for almost more than 1.5 hours, 2 hours, just thinking together. And as frustrating as it may be, and as difficult as it may be, our task is to come up with strategies. We have to come up with ideas on how to tackle this. And we did come up with some of them on dealing with some of these big and small scandals. So that gives me hope. So even though it is tiring, even though it is frustrating, you feel like this thing is doable and we must do it.
Tell me, Chairman.
Yeah.
When you look at these scandals and you read the WhatsApp or the messages or the files that you look at, these are people we know.
These are people we know.
These are people.
A majority of them are people we know.
Yeah.
The ones that we don't know are the fake certificates, which come in droves. Right now, I think if there's a pandemic, it's a pandemic of fake certificates.
Like university certificates, college certificates, or?
People purporting to have a university degree which they don't have.
And they're in office.
They are getting jobs, both in public and private offices. Some of them senior jobs in government, but they are fake certificates. It's it's a pandemic. Let me just say that, because we have so many of them. And they know this. Of course, they are the ones who faked them. How would they not know? Dad, you want to tell me you don't know that you passed your... I don't know whether you did EACC or not EACC.
No, ours was EACE.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before it became
you don't know that you passed one?
I know I passed.
If you didn't pass, you know that you did pass. So you can't say, I just happened to have a fake certificate. I didn't know that it was fake. God. You did something about it. Fake birth certificate. Fake. We are becoming a fake country. Yeah, it is true. So those ones, majority of them are people who you don't know. You know,
right?
Yeah, there are people scattered out there. You hear this person has this certificate. They've got a job as governor. They got a job as working in a county government or in government, in a parastatal, and so on and so forth. Those are many.
But Chairman, what is...
But the big deals?
Yes.
The big deals are people you know.
People we know?
Yes.
Edible oil scandal?
Yes.
We know these people?
Of course. Let me not say you know them, but the allegations are against people you know.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
The list is endless. NYS.
Yeah.
0 arrests or 0 convictions. Anglo Leasing. 0 convictions. Mafia House scandal, 0 conviction. Triton. I mean, and you know, we forget them, by the way, yeah? We forget them because a new scandal comes in next week.
That's the sad bit.
Yeah.
That's the sad bit. Because there are so many, we move on. But let me say that the cases don't die. The cases don't die. It is our minds that move on. In fact, like the ones that we are mentioning now, some of them are still ongoing, whether in court, whether investigation, at different levels. But because we have moved on to new ones, you know, when you talk about NYS, it sounds like very old case.
Like ancient history.
Ancient history. Why are you talking about NYS and we are now talking about edible oil? We are talking about, you know, something that is more current. So that is the unfortunate thing, but they don't die. Those cases don't die. They go through the process and they brought to logical conclusion in the best way possible.
But then, Chairman, at the same time, in all of this, we forget Chapter 6 of the Constitution, ethics. And you're a man of ethics. You come from the church. You look at this and you see these fake certificates, fake governors, fake leaders, and you must wonder, what kind of a place are we living? What happened to this country?
Chapter 6 of the Constitution, unfortunately, as it is now, it was a bit diluted so that its force and power was robbed at some point. But it's still a very good piece of legislation, of law in our Constitution that we should utilize to try and help people to conduct themselves in the right way. So it is not totally lost. What, and I think I said it here last time, is that because of the history we had of abuse of the law, we then went to the other extreme, where we made the law unabusable, but in the process also made it much easier for criminals to enjoy their lives.
Yeah.
So that if a person is, for example, let's use the elections as an example. One of the requirements for any candidate who wants to stand for an elective office, especially the senior elective offices, is that they should get clearance from EACC to say they have a clean bill of health, among others. So we go into our records and we find this person has this case, this person has this case, and so on, and we pass it on to IEBC.
In fact, you had what, 241 members?
Yes.
241?
Yes.
Which you did not clear?
We did not clear.
Yeah.
Now, the unfortunate thing the law says that unless and until those cases have been determined and the whole justice system has been exhausted, you cannot prevent those people from standing for election. Basically, it says that anybody can stand for election.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what it says. Because this person, therefore, will start at the magistrate's court. If the magistrate's court convicts them and finds that indeed the allegations that are brought against you have been confirmed, and therefore convict you and sentence you to whatever, this person has the right to appeal to the High Court. The High Court finds them and upholds the lower court's decision that indeed there was some wrongdoing. This person has the right to appeal to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal finds that indeed what the lower courts found out was true. The person has the right to appeal to the Supreme Court.
Good Lord.
Until that whole process is exhausted, you can't stop this person from standing for an elective position.
In the meantime, they've been elected and they're serving in office.
Yes. So it means that all these decisions of the lower courts are useless as far as barring this person from holding office is concerned. That whole process can take years, knowing the backlog, the workload that is there in our judicial system. It's not that because they want to necessarily slow this process, but all of us in the law enforcement agencies are overloaded. So by the time this whole process goes through, this person has served his 10 years.
He's done 2 terms.
He does 2 terms.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Good.
So you see how it undermines. We were talking with, just recently I was invited to speak at the East African Law Society conference in Burundi, I think just 2 weeks ago. And we were there with my colleagues from different countries. And the one from Tanzania said that the moment you have an allegation against you, leave alone conviction, you cannot stand for election.
In Tanzania?
In Tanzania. You are done for.
Yeah.
Until that is, you go through the process and you are proved that you are clean.
Here is the opposite.
Here it is the opposite. And it is because, that's why I started with the history. It is the history that we had where somebody pins on you, as it used to be in the old days, a traffic offense. Mm-hmm. You didn't pay your parking ticket.
Okay.
And that is enough to disqualify you from standing for an election. By the time you prove that this was planted on me, we are gone. You are left behind. So that's how our laws now came into being. That's why that process is there. So it is informed by the abuse of the laws in the past. But then we went the full swing to the other side. So it then undermines that whole Chapter 6 thing, that you almost, it will be very difficult to bar anybody from holding office unless and until they have exhausted the whole legal process.
Your Tanzanian colleagues must have been laughing at you.
To the contrary. They were saying they would like the Kenyan. And I was saying, my friends.
No.
Actually, yes, that's what they said, to my surprise. That they like the Kenyan method system, and they would like, they're working on adopting the Kenyan system.
Oh my God.
To the contrary.
Right. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the food on the neighbor's house always sounds
so
sweet. Because I said,
yeah,
I wish we could go to the Tanzanian route. Because whereas the laws have been abused, and they still continue to be abused even this time, it's not that we are totally out of the woods, we should err on the other side, you know?
Yeah.
Because what it brings is impunity.
Yeah.
You arrest a person, and it's like, utadu, you know? Next day, they're on the streets.
Laughing.
Laughing, continuing to do their work.
Yes.
So it undermines the spirit of chapter 6, which is what you asked about.
Yes.
So
chapter 6 is just about dead and buried. I mean, it's dead in the water.
It is not completely dead and buried, because I am, with my bishop, pastor, Christian background, I believe in resurrection. So we can't just bury it. We have to raise it for it to be alive, because
it'll take more than 3 days.
It can take less. It can take less. Jeff, what I want Kenyans to appreciate is that when we talk about high cost of living, when we talk about all these challenges and difficulties that Kenyans are going through, from where I sit, a big percentage of that is as a result of corruption. And Kenyans need to appreciate that this is what is affecting us, so that we get tired of it and rally together so that we can fight this thing together. But as long as we are comfortable with it, as long as when EACC arrests a person, arrests a governor, arrests a minister or whoever, and says this person we believe to have done a wrong, and then the community comes up and says we are being targeted, this is our man, we will never win this war. And if this war is not won, we are going into a very dangerous place. Because if you are in a ship and you go down deck and you find your brother, who is also with you on the ship, is drilling a hole at the bottom of the ship, and the security guards in the ship have caught him and say, my brother is being targeted, it means you don't understand the impact, the consequences of the hole that your brother was drilling. Because you are all going to sink, including yourself and your brother. Yeah. That is what is going to happen. I was telling some people, the reason that Kenya has been called upon and we have offered to send our police officers to Haiti is because that country allowed themselves for Chapter 6 to be abused, for the anti-corruption to be overlooked, for the DCI to be overlooked, for the ODPP to be overlooked, for the judiciary to be run down, for the office of the president to be completely run out of town. So they are left in a place where the gangs are ruling the nation. Yeah. There is nothing that you can do. That can happen to us. If we leave the mafias of this country to rule us, we will be getting troops from other countries to come and take care of us.
That can happen.
It can happen, and very easily. Because the people who are determined to destroy this country are really determined. We try them. We have a difficult task to get them to book, as you know.
Yeah.
That's why we who have been given this responsibility, we are not going to give up. We'll do what we must do with all the frustrations that it may have coming with it. But we are not going to allow gangs and rogues. They have been called mafias, and they have been called cartels, and they have called, you know, whatever they are. We must chip away at their efforts. And for me, who believes in miracles, we have men and women who are praying for this country. And these people are not going to succeed. That I am very confident about.
Is this ship going to sink? Because, you know, they're poking those holes in the ship, you know that.
We are stopping them.
Huh?
We are stopping them.
Why don't you just throw them overboard?
Because we have rules in the ship that But you cannot just pick someone and throw them overboard.
Sure.
You have to come and prove that this man was indeed drilling the hole, even if you found them drilling
red-handed.
Red-handed. If we had the opportunity to throw them overboard, we would have thrown a number.
Yes.
But the process requires that we follow due process before. So they will keep riding with us.
Even if they know that you know that they were drilling that hole?
They know, because we know and they know that they are drilling that hole.
Chairman, that's a tough job, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how you sleep.
Yeah, our rules are that you can't throw anybody overboard.
How do you sleep at night?
Initially, I was not sleeping. I tell you, the first 5-6 weeks, I was not sleeping.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because every day you sit from morning to, not every day, but every so often, 2-3 times a week, you're sitting looking at these cases, and a case comes and is so and so, this is what they are alleged to have done, and so on and so forth. And then what baffled me is the lengths to which big corruption, small corruption is easy, but the length to which big corruption goes is not a person who has stumbled. No, like you are walking down the street and you saw a big envelope and you found there's $1 million shillings in it. Now, you have the choice either to look for the owner or to go away with it. You know, and thank God for providing for you.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that is the temptation, that's the battle that you are with. But nobody can really blame you for having this envelope in your hands.
Because you found it.
You stumbled on it.
You stumbled on it.
The people that we are dealing with are not people who stumble on those kinds of envelopes. That 6 billion was just lying here and I didn't know where it had come from, so I thought I could go and use it.
Yeah.
No, these are people who have sat down and have crafted a way through which they can get that 6 billion from the public coffers into their pockets. And they scheme very, very well. And they plan this thing knowing that EACC, DCI, judiciary, and all those groups are there, and therefore they can find us. So we have to seal every loophole that these people could use to catch us. Those are the kind of people we are dealing with.
They're very talented.
Very talented, very clever minds. I was telling someone that I think the kind of brains that go into our corruption, if it was used for innovation, this country would be a first world within no time. Within no time.
Would be Singapore.
We would Singapore within no time, because they use very good brains.
Yeah.
And what I thank God for, when I got into EACC, again I've said it on this platform, is that we have an equally good team. That was one of my most pleasant surprises when I went into this agency. Sitting there the very first time, the very first case that was brought before us, and most of them are very young men and women, making presentations and telling you, this is the case we have, these are the allegations that are there, this is the kind of investigation we have undertaken, this is what we have found, so and so is the one who engineered this, they were colluding with so and so, and this is how they moved this money from here to there. Sometimes it goes out of the country, it comes back into the country, and so on. And you sit there and you're thinking, wow.
These are smart people.
These are smart people, both on that side and on this side. And I just give it up to our young men and women working in EACC. These people have paid peanuts. Jeff, these people are not paid according to the work that they do and the monies that they save this country. But they do it because they have a commitment to do something for this country. And I sit there and I have told them over and over them, again, I am just so proud of you. because of the work that you do and the diligence that you put into this, because the brains behind crafting this are very brilliant brains, but we have an equally good brains that unravel it and just bring you bare. And you look at it and you say, good job. I think we have a case here.
Because it would have been a lot worse.
It would be worse. Or it would have been worse. Yeah. So that gives me hope. That helps me to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knowing that this war will be won. So the other thing that I would tell, especially those of the who are in the corruption industry, well, I'm also in the corruption industry on the other side.
Yes.
But those people who are committed to corruption,
yes,
in the long run, it does not pay.
Oh, come on. Come on. It's been how many years since Anglo leasing and all those? It's paid. People are rich. People are living large.
Find them. Find them, Jeff. Find the men and women behind Anglo leasing, if you know any. Just find if they're enjoying life. Find any of them.
Seriously?
Just find. I'm giving you a chance. You are a journalist.
Yes.
You can do your investigations. Trace them and just find that this man is absolutely enjoying his life. He's not. We were following a case recently of a man who was very senior in government, but involved in so many scandals. Several years back. He's now an old man. But everywhere you go, his finger is there, his toes are there. He's, you know, everywhere, his fingerprints, everywhere. So we are facing this man. You deal with a case, you get to him. You deal with a case, you get to him. So one time when our team went to on another case, the man literally cried, "I am an old man, please leave me." You know?
Because he's been bothered so much.
He's been bothered so much over the years.
Yes.
He is now literally crying for mercy.
If you can't do the crime, don't do the time.
Exactly. He is crying for mercy. And I pitied the old man. Because in the time when he is supposed to be enjoying his life in his sunset days, he's spending time with lawyers who are supposed to defend him. All the money he stole are going to lawyers. Wow. He is not sleeping. He is in court every other day. He is in police stations. He is in our EACC offices. Do you call that good life? If that is good life, I don't want it. I would rather eat ugali na chumvi.
Kila siku.
Kila siku, but sleep safely.
Namala.
Yeah. My friend, these people are not enjoying. I can tell you for a fact from where I sit. So any person, especially we who are younger, who are thinking that by stealing public resources, you are going to make you rich and enjoy your life, you are digging a pit for yourself. And we are going to come for you. And one day you'll cry like that and say, please leave me alone. Allow me to enjoy. Because you didn't allow us to enjoy. Kenyans who are sleeping hungry. Kenyans who have no medicine in their hospitals. Kenyans who have no shelter over their roofs. Kenyans who have no jobs. Is because you are trying to enjoy your life with their money. We can't allow you to enjoy it. We will come for you, so whether you are old or young.
So even though if you don't end up in jail, eventually it'll follow you to your grave. It will follow you to your grave.
It will follow you to your grave. The cases that I mentioned, the short list I gave you, the sample, I told you there are 43 cases that are in our last 3 months. The majority of those cases are involved in former CSS, former PSS, former CEOs of parastatals, and so on and so forth. These people now have no power that they used to stop us from investigation. They are powerless. And I want to tell the same for the current CSS and the current PSS. A day is coming when the power that you're wielding now will be no longer there. Yeah. And will come for you like a, what do they call a lame duck?
Yes. Huh?
Like a lame duck, and mercilessly, and you'll be crying, oh, please, I'm old, whatever. It does not pay. It does not pay. You better enjoy the little that you you get legitimately than commit yourself to evil money. It does not pay in the long run.
Chairman, let me take a break from that. That's profound what you just said. But people don't think that way. They're so short-sighted.
We are waiting for them.
And you will get them.
We will get them.
Reminds me of that song, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
I didn't hear it, but I've heard it. Sounds like a good thing.
Chairman of the
we are coming for them.
We're coming for them.
Yes.
Chairman of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission says they're coming for you. You better watch out, folks. Yeah. Yes, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Jeff Kenanga Live, 6 break. We'll be back. And get on the magic wall. Get your feedback in a moment.